everyone, my channel sponsor Colouring Heaven have sent me this edition of their monthly magazine to show you. This is Whimsical Wonders Special. Now all their magazines that have the word special in the title are the ones that the monthly subscribers get as part of their subscription. All their other magazines, the pocket editions, the collections, the junior ones and things like that, come separately and have to be bought separately whether you're a member or not. However, members do get 10% off the other magazines. Just wanted to let you know because sometimes people get a little bit confused about that. So this is their latest issue. Now if you're not a member and you like it, you can buy it just as a freestanding issue. They have them for sale singly on their website as well as members getting them. I think it's because of the way memberships work, it's a little bit cheaper to be a member and get them, but of course you don't know what you're getting, which some people is really nice. I had a little surprise in the post. Opened this morning, had no idea what it was going to be, so that was nice. So this particular one, as I say, Whimsical Wonders, by Edwina McNamee. So all the designs are by her and there are 40 of them in the book. So we have a cover which is matte, so you can colour it if you want to. Some people do, some people don't. The back though is just an advert. That's their last month's edition. They've got a Valentine's heart, mandalas, there's a little pocket puppies edition that's quite new, there's the year's annual, and a nature patterns by Ellie Marks. Now I'm actually on Ellie Marks's mailing list. It's nice to see that she's got a collection magazine out. Okay. Oh, also some of their editions are available as digital editions, but not all of them. If you want to check, you can go online and look and see what's available. Once it's been printed, it doesn't suddenly appear as a digital edition. It's either comes out immediately as digital and printed or just not. I think it depends on the deal that they have with the illustrator partly. Okay, let's go. Let's have a little look. So as always, whoops, we start off with a little bit inside the cover. Now they do have a half price subscription offer at the moment. It says here, look, just £3.50 per magazine. And this magazine is priced at £6.49. So you get your magazines much cheaper if you subscribe. I think, and it says, I don't know if you have to subscribe for the whole year to get the deal or whatever. The deals change. I have got a link, an affiliate link actually to this deal in the description, so you can go and have a little look at that if it's something that you're interested in. So let's have a look at the pictures. So our first picture is a fairy, and it's quite an interesting, I think this looks quite festive really, because we have these stars and things. Maybe it's just magical, but for me, you know, that the branch with the things hanging off and little houses hanging off and a big star, to me it looks a bit festive. I think it's really cute. So there is our first picture, and when we turn over it tells us the page number, which is always quite useful I think, but sometimes the name of the picture as well, if it's got a name. These don't seem to have names, that's fair enough. So they're single-sided, which means that if you use pens or any sort of markers, anything that might go through the page, or alcohol markers, that sort of thing, it's okay because they're not going to spoil your next picture. So we have a lovely toadstools here. This reminds me, there's a Johanna Basford picture with lots of little thin toadstool houses like this, but we've got a cute little cat here as well. And again, more toadstools or mushrooms. There's little mummy and baby. Oh, it's so cute. Look at that. Oh, so cute. We have a dragon on this one. Again, there's lots of stars. Now I'm thinking, I said they look festive. I'm thinking it's magic, isn't it? They've all got lots of stars that you can colour it in a festive way if you want. Now we have a sort of fairy bear, I'm thinking. And lots of little butterflies and more mushrooms again, little mouse. Now this one we've got, again we've got hanging items, but we've got houses on clouds, and the mouse, the winged mouse is on a cloud, little baby one. It is very whimsical, isn't it? Whimsical Wonders. They are very cute. The hearts in the eye. Now this one, what's happening? So we've got, I can see we've got flowers and hearts, a baby up here, but there's just got a star Now, I'm not sure what's going on with the star, but cute little wings. And these wings are see-through. You can see she's drawn part of the plant through behind. That's quite interesting. Oh, we have two little horned birds. They're so cute. This is almost slightly Valentine's-y. It's not a heart shape, but it just looks really sweet. We've got this sort of upside down heart here though, haven't we? Oh, it's just adorable. And here we have little mice. Look, they live in a shoe. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Little chimney and lovely florals as well. I think the florals are nice. They're really cute, but they're quite simple, so you can choose to just colour them really simply, just block in those colours, or you could there's plenty of room to do some different shades and tones and things. And here we have this looks to me like a sort of moth in a jar, or a glowworm type thing, you know. I think these circles almost look like it's emitting light. And we've got a candle up there too. Oh, under the water, look, we have mermouse. They're interesting, aren't they? I like colouring these sorts of scaly tail. Nice. And here we have, oh, let's make sure you can still see, the light is absolutely awful in here at the minute. Anyway, we have our two butterflies on the roof of a little house, which is nestled in a flower. And here we have a girl and all the mushrooms around her, so some bluebells. My bluebells are coming up in my garden. They're not flowering yet, it's too early, but it's rather nice. Oh, a honey, a beehive, I guess, with honey. It's like a honey pot. It's rather sweet. Leaves and florals around the edge there. This girl looks quite scary. I need to colour her up. The first thing I would do is get some pupils in her eyes, and then she won't look scary anymore. A nice little mushroomy toadstool-y things. Oh, there's a sheltering, and look, it says glow, so maybe I was right about the glowworm thing. Key here, all sorts going on in there, lots of nice berries. Do that quite autumnal looking, I think. But these look like daffodils-ish. Almost. I mean, you don't have to, of course, do them how you want, but then we've got houses growing out of these. It's interesting. Now this looks like a symmetrical design. Our sort of porcupines, I would say, might be hedgehogs, but I was thinking if their spines were a bit longer, then they're porcupines, but I don't know why I think that. I don't know if it's true. Now, what are these? Dragons? Maybe? I think so. And again, we've got see-through wings going on here. We've got lots of really pretty flowers, and we've got a bleeding hearts plant. They've got a little heart. This looks quite sort of Valentine's-y maybe, but not really, because it's like a child, I think, and a parent. Now we've got lots of berries on this one. These look like little bats, I think, little vampire bats. So you could do this in a Halloweeny style, couldn't you? Especially with the sort of candles and things. I like it. Now I have two seahorses in a bottle. Again, we got a sort of love theme going on. It's rather sweet. I like that one. It's so cute. Now we have two insects. Not sure what type. I don't think it matters. Butterflies, moths, that sort of thing. This one's got a gemstone. We have a tree house. So we have cute little mice playing here with the berries, which are coming off the tree, I'm guessing. We've got flowers and berries at the same time. It's quite rare, but makes it rather pretty. Now here we have a quite sad looking girl with a little cute owl, the cutest mushrooms and things. And these, have I turned over 2 pages at once, No, sorry. We do have another heart here. I like that, you know, got a shiny bit, sort of shows you how to colour it. And our sort of dragons. Are they underwater? I don't know why I think they're underwater. Just the tails. I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? They've got wings, actually. They wouldn't be underwater, would they? They've got some little houses in bottles. It's a cute little one. And this one, they look like little teddies, don't they? All furry and cute. And singing. Oh, it's a little baby. They're singing a little song. Oh, it's adorable. Now we have this sort of hanging fuchsia type houses, a little bit, Johanna Bass was on a page a bit like this, but these critters, very different to anything that she does. I think it's a rather sweet page. We've got berries here as well. I always notice these because I do like berries. Clara Markova does a lot of berries like that, I think. Now we have, looks like more dragons, I'm thinking. This one's holding a gemstone. We've got some more on the ground here and some pretty florals at the top. Rather nice. Now, some cute little birds. These look more like tropical flowers. I don't know why I think that, but you know, I want to say a name of a flower, but it's wrong, so I'm not going to say it. Unicorns. My husband likes this one. He loves unicorns. They look, I think they are symmetrical, but they're offset slightly, I think. Rather sweet. Then we have, it's like a hummingbird, I think, but also butterflies, really sweet, and some flowers and things. Now we have a house, looks like very magical with all these stars, but also bleeding hearts and the stars coming out. There's on the holding one there. And these are nice little mushrooms. Oh, they're showing a sort of moon, two little dragons. They're snuggly sleeping in their den. Look, little one there in bed, tucked up in bed maybe. And then here's our kitchen bits. And above we have a nice tree, grass and things like that. I do like the simple style of these because even here where we've got a bit of detail, it's not daunting. The spaces are big enough to get in there with a pencil. We've got Leprechaun Lodge here, so we've got a rainbow, a pot of gold. But we've also got here, looks like water. Interesting. Now this one reminds me of a Hannah Carlson picture actually, where we've got a lock and butterflies around it. It's rather pretty. And here we have little cute bunnies. Lots of florals on that one, really sweet. Oh, we've got some little critters there as well. Now, what is this horned seahorse with berries? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's cute and I like it. And here we have some little critters and more berries and things on this one. Look, stars coming out of the flower. Really interesting. Oh, that's the last one. I'm going to colour something. I'm just going to stop the video while I choose. Right, I have decided to do this one. This number, page 21. The reason I chose this was because it's a bottle. And bottles aren't always that easy to colour, so I thought I would show you how I'm going to colour the bottle. We also have this sort of heart theme going on, which I think is great for this sort of time of year, being as it's around Valentine's. So I'm actually though going to start with our little critters in the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to colour the whole page because it's a lot. So what I'm going to do is do the bottle and its contents and not do the outside on video because it's flowers and things. I think it's a little bit easier. So these critters, because we've got this sort of heart romantic type thing going on, I'm going to colour them in purples. Now I happen to have my Castle Art Soft Touch on my desk. Now I know Colouring Heaven were giving away some of these. It wasn't this big set, I've got this 120 set, but they were giving away the 72 set together with memberships just before Christmas, I think it was. So I figured if I use these it might make sense for those of you who have got the set. I'm going to grab the Purple Lake. Now of course you may not have these exact colours, I can't quite remember which ones are in the 72 set, because I'm lucky enough to have this one. I've got both, you see. Purple Lake. But if you use a purple, not your deepest, darkest, then it should just work. So here is my Purple Lake. And your Heather Purple would work as well. Just come in a bit. And I'm doing a slightly lighter purple on the tummy. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to keep it really simple and just make it a little bit darker here and then just fade it out a little bit towards the edge, and we'll just see how the pencil sits on the paper really. There we go. And I'm just going to work down and I'm going to make them the same colour. Something's rattling. No, it's fine. So we are just... Now the reason I'm making it darker in the middle is just for interest. There's no real reason why it needs to be. So if you feel that you would prefer it to be darker at the top or the front or whatever, you can do it slightly differently. Or you can just block it in and keep it just one plain colour. It's absolutely fine to do that as well. I'm just breaking up a little bit for myself. It makes it, for me, a little bit more interesting to colour, but I also think it looks a bit different, so you haven't just got a flat colour. And of course, if you're using a felt tip pen or a marker, then you will get a flat colour, and that's fine. What I always like to think is that people are slightly adapting when they're watching the videos, if they're colouring along, that they're not copying me exactly, because the idea is that you do your thing. Some people do like to copy exactly and learn if they are not feeling very confident or they aren't quite sure how to attack a picture, you know. But I always like it when I see someone say, oh, I switched this colour out because I didn't like it. I don't like colouring with X colour, it's not my favourite, or I changed it from my favourite colour. I love that, you know, good. Or I put a background in, or I didn't put the background in, or whatever, you know. It's all really good. I love it because it shows that your confidence is building. If you're willing to do a little bit different, to change it around a bit, you know, it's great. Now, if you don't have the Castle Arts pencils, but you do want to colour along, and you want to know what equivalent colours there are, I do have lots and lots of free charts, comparison charts. So I definitely have, for example, a comparison chart between Prismacolor and Castle Arts, and between Polychromos and Castle Arts. So you can go and have a little look and find those. There'll be a link in the video description. As I say, it's all free to download. You can donate if you find them really useful and you feel it's worth it, or just download it for free, have a look, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, you've lost nothing. You know, I put them out there for free because I want everyone to be able to join in with the videos, to be able to have fun, to be able to get involved. And I know not everybody can afford to buy these sorts of things as well. I'm going to also use this colour at the top of the head. Here, look. And I'm going to fade it slightly towards the top. And then from behind the ear there, and fade it towards the middle. I just feel it might be a bit lighter here. If our light's coming down through the top of our bottle, of course it might not be. But that's my thought. There we go. So there, these are such pretty colours, aren't they? That purple, beautiful. Now I want to go darker for the rest of the body. Excuse me, so I'm going to use the mulberry. Here we go, which is a darker purple. But if you... Oh, I've got hiccups, I'm sorry. If you prefer to go lighter, you could use a mauve. You could use a lavender, it's a slightly more pinky tone. Oh, sorry. I've only just had lunch. I had the most delicious lunch. Shall I make you hungry and tell you what I had? We had a beautiful, fresh, whole grain spelt loaf, and we toasted it. Some slices of it. It was really quite crusty, and I prefer crusty bread toasted. So we toasted it, and then we fried some mushrooms and put on top with some pea shoots. It was delicious. Now, when we get near the wings, we need to slightly change up what we're doing. So I'm going to colour around them at the moment, like this. I'm guessing they might just finish like there, and there. So I'm just trying to get this colouring as even as I can. Now you can blend it. I'm trying to think actually what blending pencils work best with castles. Not sure. We'll have a play in a minute. I've got a few different types in here. So I'm just going up to there, and then I'm going to do this side. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do the face a different colour or not. I've got to make a decision. So while I'm thinking and procrastinating, I colour here. See, what I do is, I'm not a procrastinator. It's not in my nature, and I know some people are, but it's no criticism of those that are. We are what we are. We're born how we're born. But because I don't like to procrastinate, if there's a bit that I'm not sure how to colour, I just leave it and I move on to another bit while my brain is just ticking away in the background thinking about it. Whereas some people I know would stop and think and want to work it all out before they carried on. And we're all just different in the way we do it. But I just like to get on. I'm that sort of person. I just want to get on with things. I'm not always in a rush, you know. And I do try really hard when I'm making my videos to slow down a little bit. But let's try out some blending pencils while I remember. Now what have I got here? Oh, those two are the same pencil. I haven't got that many here actually. No. So I have got a colourless blender. This is a Prismacolor one. I need to just scribble on the end to get rid of the I haven't got, oh, I just need a bit of scrap paper. The end of a blending pencil gets dirty when you blend, so I need to make sure that you scribble it off first. So this is a Caran d'Ache and it's usually very good. Let's try it. No, sorry, I'm lying. This is a Prismacolor and it's usually very good. Sorry, there we go, look. And you can see it's actually burnishing it so that it's eliminating the white that we can see. Now, the reason people will use a blending pencil rather than going over and layering over in more pencil is I think it's quicker and easier. It doesn't change the intensity of the colour quite so much, but also it can be cheaper. Some pencils are very expensive. This is a Caran d'Ache pencil blender. This is actually dearer than the pencils that we've used, so it probably would be wise. So is the Prismacolor, to be honest. The Castle Arts, I've been told off for saying they're a budget pencil. They're not the cheapest budget pencil. This is a Caran d'Ache blender. It works pretty much just as well. They are, I would say, a mid-range pencil. There are cheaper budget pencils that cost you like a few quid for 20 or whatever, and Castles aren't that cheap, but they aren't in this sort of expensive professional artist range price either. You can, I think that did just as well. But as I say, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using a really expensive Caran d'Ache blender on budget pencils really, because it'd be cheaper to use your pencil to go over it with. But just a little demo there for you. I also have this blender. This is a blending stick. It's just a Caran d'Ache one again. It just has no wood. It's like a woodless blender. It works in exactly the same way. It's just like the core of the pencil. I have to say I prefer the pencil for the reason that if you drop that stick on the floor, even if it's on the carpet, it's going to snap. They're very brittle. Whereas if they're wrapped in wood, they don't break. Right, enough procrastination. Let's have a look at faces. I am going to use the Purple Lake Deep. Is this it here? Yeah. Okay, Purple Lake Deep. Now you can see this is a little bit more pinky. We've got this little cheek drawn in. I'm actually colouring over that. I'm going to colour carefully around the eye though. There we go. And then this sort of, see, I thought that it was an ear and I realised it can't be an ear. I'm going to make it a bit, those back ones a little bit darker because can't be an ear because there's 5 of them. It's a very, very good at hearing, Mr. Seahorse. Mrs. Seahorse. Anyway, so those are sort of blenders. I have other blenders. I have a Kohinoor Polycolour blender. I have a Derwent blender. I know that Calor do blenders really cheaply. I'm interested in trying those. You can also blend with a paper stump. I have tried it a little bit. I find it takes a lot more elbow grease and hard work. Right, so those little cheeks that were hiding under there, we're going to get a pink and just go over the top. Now use a cherry pink. These colours don't sit on top of each other in the way that, say, a Prismacolor might, but if we put enough layers down, we will be able to see that little cheek, like that. Just a little cute. And you could put this down first and then colour around it, but I just find it easier this way around. I find it easier to keep it neat. Now our wings. Now wings can be done in any colour you wish, of course, and we can see these all overlapping as if they're see-through, so we don't want to put too much colour in there because we want to still be able to see through them. So I was thinking if we keep it really delicate and light, and I'm going to use the Bengal Rose Light. You can use basically my lightest pink. The Lavender Light's very light, the Ochre Rose, the Azalea Pink, all those are really light pinks. I've just particularly picked this one, and I'm going to go over the whole wing really lightly. Now to get a lighter colour, you hold your pencil further up and hold on its side, and you need to just be really gentle. Hold your pencil sort of almost as high on the paper as you can, so that you're almost just gently kissing the paper just to get the tiniest bit of colour on there. And it just gives you the lightest. I mean, we want to be able to see that there's some colour there. Now also what I think now is I need to think about what's behind and what's in front, and how is that going to work colour wise. So this one here is not obscured by anything, so I'm going to put another layer here like that, whereas this has got bits showing through, so I'm not going to do that there. I'm going to put another layer on here, and that's got that bit showing through to there, so I'm thinking just here like that. Now these bits, we've got this actual purple underneath, so I'm going to actually put a little bit of purple there. Which colour was it? It was the mulberry, wasn't it? So gently, again holding low down on an angle, lightly, and actually this is quite blunt, which is also useful. When your pencil is blunter, it isn't as intense, so just put a light layer. There we go, so it just looks like we're seeing through the wing and we can see a bit of the body through. And then we're going to do the same with picking back up our Bengal Rose Light on this side. So again, a light layer to start with. Now if you're not confident in doing a light layer, practice on some scrap paper, because personally it's one of the hardest things I find, or I found, to learn when colouring, because I'm not like massively heavy-handed, but I'm certainly not really light-handed, so I had to learn how to do it and what technique to use in order to achieve that lighter touch. And for me, as I say, holding it further away from the nib and going a little bit more gently and on its side helps me, but it might not help you. So have a little play if you're not sure or not confident, and see what works for you. Here's our mulberry again. Or experiment in a book that you're not so precious about. I find that I just don't want to keep practicing on scrap paper. We're going to do these grasses because I just want to get on and actually colour my books and things like that. So what I tend to do is practice in books that I'm not so precious about. This is Hooker's Green. So there are some books that are so beautiful that I want to do my best on every page. I need to sharpen this. And there are other books where I'm not so, that I'm like, oh, it's okay. You know, like if it's a Mandela book or something, rather than one that has pictures, scenes in and florals and things, you know, that sort of thing. I'm more prepared to like play around. Also, it depends on the price of the book, of course. Sometimes an expensive book is very much more precious than a cheaper book, maybe. So there's that as well. So I tend to play around in the books that are less valuable. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm layering up a little bit more at the bottom than on the tips of all our blades of grass. So here again, just layer it up gently and then just put less layers as you go towards the tip. And you don't even have to go all the way to the end, because I'm going to come in with another colour afterwards. Like that. This blade goes behind the seahorses. There we go. I'm looking at the bottom of this thinking, how am I going to colour that and this bit inside here? So I sort of plan as I go, and although I think some people would find that not very relaxing, because obviously we all colour, well, not all of us, but I think most of us colour for relaxation. I'm just going to grab the Prussian green next. You could use the juniper green as well if you haven't got a Prussian green. I should have thought ahead and actually looked to see what colours were in the 72 set. I can't find my Prussian green. There it is. Now, if you are wondering about the castle arts and you haven't looked into it very much, it's worth noting a few things. As I say, they're a mid-range pencil, so they're of a reasonable quality without being overly expensive. They don't sell single pencils at the moment. We keep nagging them to ask them to, but they don't. So that means that if you have your favourite pencil, look how short this is getting, and you run it out, unfortunately that's it, it's gone. You can't buy a replacement one. Now there are pros to this. I always like to look on the bright side, and I think, well, what that means is that I start using different colours, because I've got some sets where nearly all my greens run out and I can't replace them. So what it means is that when I grab those pencils, I have to colour my grass blue or pink, you know, and it stretches my imagination and creativity in a way that feels a bit uncomfortable, to be honest, but you know, it's probably really good for me. I want a nice light tip. I'm going to go for the leaf green. So yes, so it can be, as I say, a little bit tricky. That's the leaf green middle. Is that the leaf green? No. Sorry, I'm struggling to find my pencils today. It gives you time to catch up if you're trying to colour along. We've got a bit left behind. I might have to. Oh, here it is at last. It's confusing because the tip is quite dark. So leaf green, I am going to sharpen it a bit, because what I want to try and do with my leaf green is to just try and burnish a little bit and get rid of some of these white dots. And so I'm going to layer it up a bit. I'm going to go all over the whole thing. Because these are fairly transparent, you will see the difference, but I'm not putting too many layers down, but you can see the difference between this light tip and this dark bottom, even though I've gone over the whole thing. So yes, so you can't buy open stock, you can't buy single pencils. They sell to most countries through Amazon, but on their website their distribution is more limited. What that means is that it depends where you live as to how easy it is to get hold of them. And they tend to have sales a lot. So I always say to people, if they say, shall I buy this set, that set, the other set, I say, if you like them, watch a review, look at all the colours, think about whether you'd use them. You know, I always aware that people, impulse buying can happen, but also say that you should think about the fact that you can't replace them with single pencils. And the problem with these is you can't just try one, because they don't sell them singly. With the set that sells them in just ones, you can buy just one pencil. We are now going to do these. We're going to actually finish the wings. Now I haven't finished the wings, and I've decided what I'm going to do with them now. What I want to do is go over them with a white pencil to make them look really, really see-through. Now I'm not sure if the Castle White is up for this. Some white pencils aren't very good. So we're going to test our titanium white. Yeah, so Castles do come in some smaller sets, so you could try those. I'm going to go over the whole wing, everything, the outline, the inside, everything. But on my in my Ko-fi, I do have a list of all the different sets of castles and what colours come within them. So they do like I'm trying to think, a landscape set, a seascape set, a Monet set, a portrait set, as well as a 72 set and a 120 set. And there's a few other little sets I've forgotten as well. And I've got a list of what colours are included in each set, so that you can have a look at that and think, well, are those colours that I'm going to like, I'm going to use, which set is the best for me to get? So you can do that. Have a little look. Now that hasn't really made an awful lot of difference. I am going to use a different white. This is a Prismacolor white. Okay. Now Prismacolor Premier are, look at the difference, are very soft pencils. So they go down quite easily, thickly. So they are better for this. The white is particularly good. White pencils are a bit of a bugbear, I think, for some people, where certain brands just can't seem to get a white that sits on top of other colours, and some brands do, and even some of the expensive brands can't do it. So it isn't necessarily a price thing. Prismacolor isn't a particularly expensive brand in some countries. In America they're fairly cheap, in the UK not so much. So there we go. You can see the difference hopefully between that and that. It was sort of blunted down the black outline and just the whole colour as a whole, and hopefully it's made everything look a little bit blurred and smushed, and it gives the impression that we might be looking through something that's not completely see-through, you know, like a net curtain type effect, you know. There we are. Okay, now we finished those. I'm sorry I didn't finish those before. I sort of got a bit carried away. We've got our hearts to do. Now they are marked out a little bit to try and help us, but I am actually going to do my own thing. So I'm sorry, with the heart, and then we're going to work through. We're going to. I like the white, but I'm going to colour over it and put it back in with a white pen. And the reason for that is that I find it very awkward colouring evenly around a shape like that. So I'm going to grab my azalea pink and I'm going to colour both hearts over completely with this to start with. This is my lightest pink. So really lightly. Also Castle, just going back talking about them, their customer service is very good. You can get online and chat to them really easily, and they answer questions quickly, so that's always good. For me that's important. Right, I'm going to go slightly darker pink. I'm going to go to grenadine. I think this is it. And what we're going to do here is we're not going to go over every part of our heart. We're just going to do some areas. I need to sharpen this. I need it reasonably sharp. There we go. So around the edge like this, I want it dark on the edge. And then gently bring it in. Start to scumble it. See how I'm going round and round? And that will just blend it into that lighter colour a bit, like that. And do the same on this one, so dark around the edge. Oops, try not to go out of the lines, but don't worry too much if you do. Round and round. There we are. And now I want an even darker colour on the very edge. I think I'm going to go for the cherry pink. We used it already, so I've got it out. And now I'm just going to do just the edge, really. Hold the book still as I go. And as I do this, I'm starting to think about my bottle. How are we going to colour this bottle? Well, there are different ways of colouring glass. And what I am thinking is, see how here it's very, we can see how it looks see-through because of this stopper. Yeah, so that's something. So I'm thinking if it's see-through, which obviously we can see in it, but does that mean it's just clear, or does that mean we're going to do this bottom bit first, or does that mean that it's you know, not necessarily clear? This is burnt umber. We're going to do this bit in gold, so we're going to start here with a dark burnt umber colour like this, and then fade it a little bit down. And we're going to do the same on our bottom part here, so quite a nice defined bit at the bottom, and then just sort of fade it up a bit. We've also got a bit of a question, are we under the sea? Is our bottle going to have a sort of bluish tint as if there's water in it? And this is where I'm thinking, yes, that's what I think I want to do. So I want to colour a background within the bottle only. This is raw umber. I'm going to go over what I've done and just extend it a bit. So I'm thinking I want to pick a sort of sea greeny, bluey type colour for water and draw that into our bottle, and then we'll worry about how we're going to get the shape of the bottle or the shine on the bottle sort of thing afterwards. I think that's going to work better. Sometimes a see-through bottle can be quite effective, but I just think they're under the sea. They need some water in there. That's what my mind's thinking anyway. Now, I wasn't sure how well these pencils would work on this paper, but they're doing quite a good job. You do need to layer them up a bit, but you do with these pencils anyway. Right, I'm going lighter now. Where are we going? I'm just looking at my swatch chart. The Castle Arts come with a swatch chart that you can swatch and look at. I'm going to go yellow ochre next, which is quite handy. But I tend to make my own, which I haven't got one for these. I think it's because the swatch chart is actually very good. They aren't always. The swatch charts which come with pencils aren't always particularly good, or they're in a silly order. I'm very fussy about the order I like my pencils in, so sometimes I will just completely rearrange them all, you know. So it just depends. But I have lots and lots of different swatch charts, comparison swatch charts, my Ko-fi, as well as some step-by-step tutorial guides that you can sort of download and follow. Just doing a little bit extra here. And what else do I have in there? Comparison swatch chart. All sorts of rubbish. Yeah. No, all sorts of things. Where are we going to go next? We could go green gold, we could go cadmium yellow. I think that's where I'm going. Cadmium yellow. Yeah, there's lots in there. And there's only a few things that aren't free. Most things are. There's an ebook that I wrote that's got a small price attached. But the rest is pretty. Oh, there are index sheets for colouring books. So basically a list of all the pages and what's on them, so that you can fill it in with when you completed it, well, when you started it, when you completed it, what pencils you used and things like that. If you want to have keep a little track. I try and do it on some of my books for when I do a flip through, when I complete it, so I can tell you what pencils I've used and things, but I don't always remember. Right, we're going to use one last colour. I'm going to use the cadmium yellow light, if I can find it. There's a bird singing outside. It's just beautiful. It almost feels like spring is on the way. Cadmium yellow. I shouldn't think my microphone's picking it up. But anyway, it's lovely. Sounds like a little happy black bird. Yeah, this, because the snowdrops are coming out, it feels a bit spring-like. Even though it was absolutely freezing, high wind chill factor yesterday, really, really cold, and it was sleeting and raining, and yes, pretty wintry. But it's a bit more rainy-fied today. There we go, there's our sort of gold base. Now inside this bit of base here, I'm a bit unsure because I was going to just do it yellow, and then I thought this grass is growing out of it. Maybe we should go with our dark colour. So I think I'm going to use the burnt umber and just put it there, and then it looks like there might be soil. I've got to grow in something. Ever the practical brain. Right, there's that bit. Now I feel that we should do this and then we can do our bottle, okay? And we could do the background as well, but let's have a go at this. Now you can choose what colours you do. I'm going to go for pinks because we've got a lot of purple on our seahorses, so I'm going to go for pinks. I'm going to use pinks that I've used already, so mainly I think. So I'm going to start with my cherry pink. That wasn't the right one. There it is, cherry pink. And I'm going to do this outline, okay? Now when we get to this bit, it will be lighter because we'll be looking through the glass at it. So the idea is to make this bit quite defined. I'm layering it up. This is my sort of going to be my darkest bit, so I want it to stand out and look dark. I was just thinking could have done this silver as if it was some sort of base. Now here we're looking through the rest of this. We're looking through glass, so I'm going to colour it lighter like that. Simply just putting. See, that bit isn't through the glass. Simply just putting less pressure on the pencil and doing less layers. There we go. Okay, and hopefully my light's shining on there, so let's bring it down a bit. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to put that pencil away, and I'm going to use that one. Our next darkest pencil is the grenadine. Oops. And we're going to do a sort of layer around. So these here, I'm going to make them darker here and then light towards there. So you see I've layered it out more here. I'll do the same with this one. Layer, layer, layer. Less, 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 less to there. And then just work my way around the edge. Again, just doing the bit above the glass. Like this. And just working along. Now these again, this one. The rest of these are through the glass, so we want to go lighter. Like that. There we go. And just keep working around the edge. Like that. Then I'm going to take my next colour. What's that? Oh, I've used that one. Okay, so this is the Bengal Rose Light. It's really hard to see. It really annoys me when people print their pencil names on in metallic, because you can't read them. But everyone does. Although Castle have got a pastel tone set, and they're printed on in white, and the really pale ones you can't read either. So you know. It's problematic either way. Now here look, that part's underneath and that bit isn't, so gotta do half of it darker and that bit lighter. So we're going in down here now, we're going to do these a bit lighter, these sections. Like that. I'm going to do these sections with this pencil too. And our very centre bit, I'm going to use the azalea pink. Oops, a bit wonky, sorry. And what I like to do is go really dark on one corner here, layer, 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 and then fade, 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 fade like that towards the middle. I'm going to do the same in reverse, but partly underneath. So that bit needs to be dark. What I'll do is I'll do this bit first, above, and then that bit underneath a bit lighter, like that. Okay, so there is our sort of diamondy type, gemstone-y bottle stopper. Now we need to do our background. I'm going to come out a bit because you really need to see it in really close detail, because I'm just going to be colouring in a light blue. I want a really light blue. I'm going to use the cobalt. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Cobalt blue light. I want something that's blue, not greeny. I just feel it's going to match better with our, and I'm going to colour it quite lightly. I feel like it's going to match better with our hearts and purples and things than a more teal type, turquoisey type colour. And I just want a really light layer. If you want, you can make this darker. Now really, I should be colouring over everything, because the water would be over it all. So maybe I should do that a bit. There we go. So it may not be showing up too well on camera, but we'll see how it goes. As I say, I don't want it really dark. Do be careful because you might smudge your colours. These aren't too smudgy, fortunately, castles. Their gold range are a bit more smudgy, but these aren't. Now there's no going to be any water up here because it's our stopper. I'm going to do some grey here. What I want is a cool grey, a more blackish grey rather than the brownish grey. I'm going to use my Paynes grey. Now this is quite a dark grey, and I do not want this really dark. So again, I'm going to be pressing quite lightly. We're going to start here on our rim, and we're just going to put a little layer there, and then we're going to fade it right to the middle. We've got to go over the top of that heart. Now you may not even really see it, but it's got to be there because it's the outside of the bottle, and that's what we're looking through, like that. Now on this bit, I think it's much easier to just do it on this outside. Okay, so I'm going to fill the bottom in. Again, I'm not pressing too hard, like this. And then up our side, I'm going to fade it towards the middle, like that. So on this bit we haven't got very much, and the same here. So I'm going to come down from here and just sort of fade it a bit. Fade it off, and the same here. There we go. Now what I'm tempted to do, oh there it is grab my Jelly Roll 10 and put a little bit of white in here before we finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run it down this black line here. If you don't have a white pen, you can use a white pencil for this. As you could see when we did our wings, it fades the white quite well, and it can work more effectively than you might think. I don't think the Castle White's quite up to the job, but you could use a Prisma White. The Derwent Chinese White from the Derwent drawing set oh, it's a very loud train going by, is one of the best. I'm going to go over these wings too with this white. Yeah, the Derwent drawing pencil white is good. I should imagine that the Caran d'Ache Luminance white is good. I haven't got it. This pen doesn't want to work. It's really not working. Come on, pen. Maybe it's run out. There we go. It's got it going again. Yeah, so you can try out different whites to see what works for you. There's this, is it called Unisigno? That's quite a good white as well. This one is really not working. These are a good brand, the Sakura Jelly Rolls, but I just have a feeling this one is run out or something. This one is also good, this Posca. Now, I use the Posca PC1MR, there we go, which works quite well, as you can see. Sometimes it doesn't always work. I think perhaps it depends on the pencil you're trying to cover sometimes, but this has also been lying down flat for a while, which helps a lot. Because if you store them with the lid up in a cup or something, which a lot of people do, I used to as well, then the ink, the paint runs down to the bottom, and so it doesn't come out very well. So there we go, just put some white in. You can see the difference between the two, I hope. Just a sort of hint really of white. Now I've got to do these hearts, those circles, remember? I'm actually also going to just put my own little marks there as well. I want them to stand out a little bit, the hearts. I think they're cute. There we go. Now I'm just going to go over some of these black lines. Just fade it down a bit really. Now I don't want to 100% cover it, so if there are bits showing through still, that's okay, because we still want to be able to see the structure of the wing. But if we fade it down, it helps the wing look more see-through and sort of light, which is what I wanted it to sort of look light and delicate, rather than a heavy, thick type wing like a dragon might have. So there we go. And I'm also going to do a bit of white on our very top stopper as well before I finish. So up here, come in a bit closer for you. I'm actually going to cover most of these black lines just to soften it down, and I'm not going to do any different for what's underneath the glass or what's on top. Just going to soften it all down. Just hold the paper. Now I used to get quite nervous when I was using pen, because I'm not someone who can draw, but I am just going over the lines that are here already. So, and I'm practiced now. I sort of just trust what I'm doing really, and if it goes a little bit wrong, I don't mind. I just carry on, and I think that will just soften it a little bit. Also helps our bottle edges to stand out a little bit more too. So there we are, there is what I'm doing for you. Now one thing that you might like to do is put some shine lines on your bottle to make it look like the bottle itself is shiny. I haven't done this edge, have I? I do this while I talk. The problem with doing that with what we've done is they won't show up, because this is so pale. If you want to do that, you're going to have to colour your background, that blue, in really thickly, and then you can get that shine showing up. But otherwise, I'll show you, if I just do that, you can't see it. It just sort of looks like it sinks into the paper, it just disappears. And it isn't because the white is you know, the white pen is working well. It's just because this isn't thick enough. So it is up to you. You might feel like you want to do a little more with it and make that a bit darker. In fact, I might think I want to do that too once I finish the rest. But I wanted it to get quite soft and subtle. I want our hearts and our little seahorses to really stand out. The rest of it, I'm probably going to use the same sort of colour scheme but in a paler, lighter tones. So I'm probably going to use maybe more pastel-y shades so that we've got a lighter, so that our eye is really drawn into the middle. So my stems and leaves will probably be all the same greens but a paler greens. I might use this colour here, but that's the leaf green, but I might use that with the leaf green light just to keep it pale. And then here I might use my lavenders, my mauves, that sort of thing, so it's a bit less, it doesn't stand out as much. So that's my plan. I will share a completed picture of this either on my social media channels or well, definitely in my completed pages for the end of the month, so you'll be able to see it there. I'll try and remember to put it on the Colouring Heaven Facebook group as well. I try and remember to put things on there, but I don't always remember. But anyway, if you've watched this video, I probably would have finished it, and you want to see it, put a comment and I'll try and remember, I'll tell you where it is. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Yes, there's all the details in the description if you want to buy the book or the pencils or find any of my freebies or anything like that. Go and have a look, and if you wouldn't mind giving me a little like and maybe a comment to subscribe to the channel, it would be really appreciated. So thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.